farcical, so unpredictable, here on the SNL Network.
Yes, that is right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the SNL Network's Hot Take Show, live with you right after the Willem Dafoe and Katy Perry Saturday Night Live episode, which was a very fun one. I was so excited to get Willem Dafoe on the show. For me, it's been a long time coming, so I'm excited to break it all down live with our amazing panel and everybody here in the chat. So let me introduce the guys that we have with us tonight, and joining us first is the great TJ Randolph. TJ, how are you?
I'm feeling blessed, black, and highly favored, John. Happy Pokemon release weekend to any other fellow Pokemon fans out there. I stopped my journey through the Hisui region to come do this show, and I'm glad to be here. So you better appreciate that I'm here. I stopped playing Pokemon for you guys.
I always appreciate it, TJ. So very happy to have you on the show. And then joining us, it's been a while since we had him on the show, but so happy to hear from him always. It is Dave Buckman. Dave, how are you?
Sacre Blue, man. I am doing just fine.
Yeah. Everything's going good in your life?
Yeah, everything's going great.
Okay, good. I'm excited to break this all down with you. And then, of course, the one who many of you want to sit right, want to come right and switch screens, want to have him in the hosting chair. Here you go. There you go.
Yes. Yes. Here I am. All right. Yes. Welcome to the SNL Network.
Yes. Andrew Dick, I know I promised you puns, so welcome to the Folking podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Andrew, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. It's glad to be back for a normal episode, since the last time I was on, it was from the Paul Rudd episode, which wasn't really, a normal night. So it's good to be back for a more traditional episode of SNL.
For sure.
Oh, no. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with all
so quickly.
Short-lived.
God, he lasted as long as Conan O'Brien on NBC.
Right. Exactly. Well, with all of the personalities I was gonna say, with all the personalities we have on tonight, I know this will not be a normal episode of the SNL Network's Hot Take Show. So this will be a lot of fun. The way we start off our hot take shows is we like to get hot takes from our panelists. So TJ, I'll start with you. Do you have a hot take or a headline for the night you would like to tell the listeners?
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say Willem Dafoe was like super game, high energy. Every time he smiled, it literally lit up the show and just kind of I felt like I was having so much fun because I could see this guy just having a good time performing. So that's probably what I had my.
Okay, all right. Willem Dafoe had a good time performing. Smile, got it. Okay, Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I was looking forward to this episode a lot because I was just kind of hoping that he'd become like this new kind of elder statesman that would come back like the way Christopher Walken used to come back, and I think he finally got to open up at the end of the episode and really kind of let it loose and kind of prove himself as to why he should be that guy for this cast.
Yes, yeah, that is very true. Okay, Andrew, I'm bracing myself. What is your hot take for the night?
Well, I mean, I think for the show itself, the headline for the night was penises. Was the theme, I think.
Facts.
Yes. When I said I'm bracing myself, I don't mean I'm embracing myself, as was stated many times on the night. But yes, continue. Andrew.
Are you going to be able to contain yourself this episode, John? Like, this is just.
Okay, Andrew, give us your hot take. Yeah.
Well, I think this was a fine episode. I it doesn't always follow down the line, but I like to think of January in SNL as weirdo character actor month. That's when you get your Adam Drivers, your Sam Rockwells, your down the line, Peter Sarsgaard, Paul Giamatti, Willem Dafoe. So I was pretty hyped. Those are usually my kind of episodes, and I think I haven't been on here since the Paul Rudd. Last two episodes did not work for me. I was getting worried that they were so not hitting for me. And I think this one stepped it up, but was not amazing, but was still just a good night-ish of the show. Like, it was okay. It was good. It was a fine outing, I think.
Right. Well, I'll give my hot take, which is that the first half of the show, basically up until I'd say probably Peyton Manning coming out for Weekend Update, felt like a completely different show to me than the second half of the show. And it's been
Agreed.
it's very rare that I'll come on here and I'll tell you that that this happens. But tonight, I felt like the second half of the show was some of the most fun I've had with Saturday Night Live all season. And I was watching those sketches between Beauty and the Beast and the Please Don't Destroy with the Kid and some parts of Good Morning Columbus and the Office song. And we'll talk through each of these sketches. But like, I just thought it was so funny. I was laughing out loud more than I was the entire season, and I couldn't figure out like what made it click. And I'm hoping we can talk through it tonight to figure it out. But to me, I felt like the second half was just totally speaking to me in a way that the first half wasn't. And I'd love to explore that with all three of you. So that was my hot take for the night. Was just something happened to me this season that really hasn't happened all season, which was a great second half compared to the first half. So would love to talk that through. All right, let's start with our cold open that we saw tonight. So this cold open was called Russian Disinformation. So a little bit of Russia-Ukraine talk, where we had Ego, Alex, and Keenan, and JAJ playing Biden for the fourth time. We had a lot of different parts to this with people popping in. So between Aristotle and Andrew on TikTok, we had a Sarah TikTok. Kyle and Kate were there. Pete as Aaron Rodgers. Chris as Jacob State Farm. Chloe as Michaela coming in. There was a lot of stuff here. So let's break it down. TJ, what were your thoughts on the cold open?
Well, to be honest, the things for me that kind of played the most were like I was like really kind of just like not into this, but like political stuff doesn't play super well with me. Like I realized that like a lot of my political information comes from either my Google feed or when I watch SNL and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then I have to like Google something of like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. So the Russia-Ukraine thing I'd heard about, but I hadn't like had much information. So I was like, all right, so the joke is Russia's going to invade the Ukraine with like memes and social media. And I'm like, honestly, this is a funny premise. And I had fun with that idea once it got going, but I was ready for it to stop at a certain point and it didn't. Like I feel like it could have been a little bit shorter, but for me, the things that played the most were Aristotle, but I think it's just because I really dig anytime that guy comes on. So like just that little bit was fun. And the Sarah bit, I enjoyed. Also, I had no idea, even like when SNL did it a few weeks ago, I had no idea who Aaron Rodgers was. I still don't know, but I'm not a sports guy. So the Aaron Rodgers stuff does not play to me. Anything sports does not play to me like whatsoever, but it plays to plenty of other people and that's okay. So for me, this was a very hit or miss, but like I could have done without it.
Okay, Dave, for you, was this more hit or miss?
This was a miss. I mean, I'm Ukrainian and I pay attention to the news and I like political sketches, and this was still a miss. I felt like it was sloppy. I felt like the jokes were not very good. The only laugh I got was Michaela spelled the worst way. That's a great joke right there.
Dave, do you use soldiersonly.com?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I just felt like it was kind of lazy meme stealing, you know, kind of like making the memes do the work for them a little bit. And the jokes are falling flat. And I just downloaded TikTok, like got the app like 2 weeks ago. So now I'm very versed in what TikTok humor is. And even that did not save the sketch for me. I thought it was just kind of definitely one of the weakest cold opens of the season.
Okay. Andrew, how do you feel about it?
Well, you know, I'll echo both Dave and TJ here. Not the greatest. I felt it was a step above the last two that we've gotten so far this year, but that is the lowest bar to ever clear ever. I think I had a couple chuckles in this, like, or maybe like I almost thought I was about to chuckle, but I hate how much they just throw everything at the wall. There's a lot of throwing everything at the wall in this first half of the episode, of just now it's TikToks, now it's memes, now it's over here, and it never establishes itself long enough in those beats to ever feel anything more than just a throwaway piece. So I mean, I guess it kind of at least had some energy rolling. The meme thing never works for me on SNL. I don't know why they keep on going back to it. I just feel, I don't know. It does not work in a sketch comedy context for me. But I thought it was fine-ish up until Chloe, and I felt they could have cut all of that and just gotten right, you know, just ended it there, and it would have been okay. But then it just got to that point where it was like, okay, please end now. And so
Yeah.
You know.
Well, this is the thing is that there's obviously a pattern where they want to address a bunch of things. They think like, okay, like you said, throw stuff at the wall. So how can we include this many cast members? How can we include these storylines? How can we throw this in? And I find that where it really doesn't work is when they're not cohesive with each other, where it's often like one person and they're the anchor of a news show. And then they're saying, okay, this storyline is done. Let's cut to this next person, which I don't really feel like was that tonight. I didn't really feel that. So that's why this worked for me, maybe more than some other cold opens we've seen this season, because I did feel that the parts all connected to each other in a way that was much better than some of the other cold opens. Just because they cut to a TikTok, it still referenced what was happening in the actual cold open. Versus
it did have a through line that others did lack.
Yeah, so that's where I'm saying is like, look, you could love or hate political cold opens, and maybe this isn't your style, but I think that the ones that work best, especially in this era of the show, is where there is a through line through the different segments of the cold open. That's why I think this is the upper tier for me. Dave, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, but the jokes weren't there. The jokes just weren't there tonight in the sketch. I mean, great for structure, but bad for a cold opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely like the thing I forgot the most about this episode, and it was literally in 2 hours ago, John. Like this was the weakest part of the episode. Although I will add, because we brought up Chloe Fineman's character, I hope someone else feels this way. That character had Regina George energy, and I couldn't stop thinking about it when it came on. And I was like, oh, this is a great like type of like Mean Girl energy. I would love to see Chloe do this like somewhere else, but like that probably was like one of the strongest pieces. Like she's perfect for that type of like character in the sketch, like that Regina George type.
I'd hold on to that character. I would agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, spelled the worst way.
Right. And I felt like I feel like the recipe was there, but maybe it wasn't cooked well. Like I get what you're saying, Dave, where I just needed the jokes maybe weren't there, but I feel like this, if you're going to do this, this is the pattern to do it in. So totally resonate with what you're saying. Okay. Let's get
jokes well.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just at least get the jokes good for the people that follow the news story. You know what I mean? At the very least, if you're going to do a whole sketch about the news, at least have it be biting satire.
For sure.
Oh, honey, this is SNL.
All right. Let's go ahead. Chad, I do want to remind you, put your comments in about the episode. We'll definitely bring them up on the screen when we can. Okay, let's talk about the monologue. We get to see Willem Dafoe come out, and I really, Dave, I'll start with you on this one. I've been loving certain aspects of the monologue this season, and one of them is just that we're getting background about the hosts in a way that some seasons of SNL don't do. They really talk about their lives, so that's what spoke to me tonight. Did you enjoy what we saw from the monologue?
I agree. I did like the monologue. I do like this new trend of personal style monologues, of really introducing America to this person as a person, not just whatever character they are in the media. I loved the line about one of the subtle actors like Nicolas Cage or Al Pacino. That was a great kind of self-mocking look at that was me when he was being in Speed 2 was great. Those kind of personal touches. If you give me 20 guesses, I would never have guessed who's from Wisconsin. Never. So I really enjoyed learning about Willem Dafoe, an actor who I've just admired and loved for years and years, and just kind of seeing him as a person, just like an actual person. It's very heartwarming. I do love this new trend of let's learn a little something about this person and what they're about.
Yeah,
rather than
I
conversations or bits.
Totally resonate with that. Andrew, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I definitely echo that. I mean, I do love the straight monologues that we've been mostly getting. We seem to be getting away from that recently, which is troublesome to me, because I feel the monologue is just introduce who this person is. Like Dave says, just learn a couple things about them, tell a couple jokes, get out of there, and get into the show. So I was enjoying the first half with just Willem, who just, throughout the night just has a great energy. So I don't think they needed to boost this at all with the whole Mikey and 80 Wisconsin thing. Beyond the line about like Speed 2, confusing all the roles, and then he's like, yes, I actually was in Speed 2. That got a laugh out of me, but it did not seem necessary. And another thing that I would have just lopped off wholesale, just gone, throw it in the trash and get into the show. So half good, half didn't quite work for me. So, middle ground, I suppose.
I think what was jarring for me, TJ, was just seeing 80 and Mikey, and then the people right in front of them in the chairs, like on the floor, and they all had masks on. And like, I know they're there with masks, and I see everybody like in the good nights with masks and stuff. Like, I know that there's the protocols and stuff, but it's just weird for me, like watching Saturday Night Live and just seeing the people on the floor all with masks while 80 and Mikey are unmasked behind them. I just felt like that was so weird for me.
John, what on earth are you talking about? This pandemic has been going on for 2 years.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
How is it weird for you now? I didn't even think about it.
because I can't see their expressions.
Just locked. The one guy had like crazy eyes. Like
thank you. That's what I'm talking about.
And I was like, what's up with the crazy eyed guy?
The guy on the left.
I didn't notice the crazy eyes. The mask. I didn't even. It's been 2 years, man. You started this podcast in this. Oh, goodness gracious. What
do you think about all
that? Oh my gosh, like I always love. Oh my god, sorry. Blood Meridian's like logo. I just realized it's Mikey Day from Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, it just caught me off guard, man. It was funny. Okay. Midwestern Mom 80 is something that always makes. Jesus Christ, this guy. Yes. It's something that always makes me laugh. Honestly, yeah, I liked how quick this monologue was, even with them bringing in a cast member. I was like, oh wow, that was over like really quickly. So I was all for it. Like, yeah, like trim a little more fat off. Like, I like Midwestern Mom 80, but I could also watch the other 9 years of Saturday Night Live if I want to see more of that. But I got to see more Mikey Day, which I'm always more happy about. So for me, I did love I love now that I can look at these monologues as a little bit more like, all right, tell me about yourself. Because the rest of the whole show is bits. You can spend like 2 or 3 minutes talking about a little bit about yourself. And I think it's really nice to get to know the host a little bit more. So I was fine with it. It did shock me when the mask didn't shock me. It was actually the cutting to like, oh, we're bringing cast members in, because this had the feel of like the Kieran Culkin or the first half of the season, the monologues where it was like, oh, we were going to have just like a personal story. I was like, oh, you could have done that, and then it's cool. I don't think it was bad, but it just caught me off guard.
Yeah, that's fair. And I thank you, Bill. I was going to say thank you, Bill Kenny, in the chat, who backed me up on the sweaty cast members, so the sweaty audience members, excuse me. But sorry, Dave. Please go ahead. Yeah.
TJ, do you like Midwestern Mom 80 or Awkward Teenage 80 better?
Oh, Midwestern Mom
so
80.
Good.
Midwestern Mom 80 that is a winner. That is, oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a coin flip for me.
All right, let's move on to tenant meeting. So this one to me was sort of like the District 7 school board meeting in the Wilson episode that we saw in the premiere. We've seen stuff like this before. It's the rotating, let's get as many cast members here as possible to play different characters. So Andrew, what do you think of this one?
Man, I want to enjoy this, but much like the cold open, we spend so little time with all of these characters that it's just they get 1 or 2 lines and then go away, and you don't ever really get a beat on them, that I don't feel the jokes ever truly have much oomph to them. So it's just kind of a cavalcade of wacky lines and wacky characters coming and going. And there's not much of a through line or anything being done than just wacky character, wacky. And like there's some bits of it that were kind of fun. I enjoyed James Austin Johnson's bit. Willem did bring again more good energy into it. But I just want, just looking for some central conceit, some concept here that never emerged. And so it just kind of left me just, I don't know, just kind of got like, okay, well, we're just kind of, it was nice to see all the cast, basically. Like, we're already like 3 segments in, and we've seen pretty much all the cast, which can, against last week where we barely saw anybody, it was a nice change of pace in that way. But I don't want to give a sketch credit for just doing what the show should do and give the cast roles. So didn't do entirely much for me, to be honest.
Yeah, TJ, I think that the roles that always work for me best in these sketches are the ones where it's like, this cast member's coming up and I can't guess what they're gonna do. You know, some of the cast members, I'm like, oh, I know what this person's going to do. They're going to, like, classically, Kate, as an example, is going to do some version of the Whiskers Are We, or whatever it is, character, right? Like, I knew that was happening, but there was a lot of cast members tonight, and that's why I'll say that maybe this worked some more than others. It subverted my expectations. Did you enjoy the tenant meeting sketch?
I mean, your point was really amazing there, because like, as like not only fans of comedy but also people who like critique it like we're doing like right now, we analyze this. So the minute you catch any of us four off guard with something like, oh, I didn't expect you to do that, that's your win, because we see this stuff so many times that we get the notes of like, all right, this is a dog show sketch, like this is what they're gonna do, blah blah blah. But the minute you're like, oh, Kate McKinnon is gonna hide like the majority of her body and only we're gonna see her eyes above a podium, like, oh, okay, I hadn't seen her do that like before. By the way, Andrew, I gotta disagree with you, man. Like, what on earth are you talking about? Like this, I, as somebody who grew up in like short form comedy from like Family Guy to like watching TikToks, like now, like I only need one or two lines in a visual to get what the joke is. Like it doesn't take me an extra second to like get it, because I think being a fan of short form content, like or in this era of short form content that we're in now, absolutely lends itself to that, because you have those visuals and you have the lines that are the immediate like, oh, okay, I know what this is. I really enjoyed getting to see my guy Aristotle. There was just so much about this that cracked me up. The big sock, like, why is I know the sock being hard is the joke, but why was the sock so big? Like, who was wearing that sock? And no one is asking that question. Like, that sock was bigger than Heidi Gardner's head. Like, that was ridiculous. We got to receive the return of Jan Krang. I feel like the thing we've gotten in this era or this season lately is we used to get a lot of the impression offs in the mid 2010s, whereas instead of the impression offs, we're getting more of these one note, like not one note, these like one characters. We're getting these character offs basically.
Freudian.
Oh, yeah. I noticed you're coughing, sir. You got something to say, Andrew? Let's go and say it. What's up?
Hey, wait, you came from me first.
I didn't come to you. I disagree with you, but what you got to say? What's up?
Okay, round one.
Okay. Listen, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of TikTok or Family Guy. I don't like.
You think? I couldn't guess.
Yeah. I think just throwing out very simple jokes and then cutting away, it doesn't quite work for me. It can in some respects, but I don't feel that it. I don't know. It just doesn't work in a sketch comedy context for me, because I need something more. I need more depth, more density to it. People coming in and saying a couple lines, I can't connect to it enough to get to laugh at the joke, because I'm already like, who is this character? They've already said their line, they're gone. It doesn't connect with me. I don't. There's not enough meat on the bones for me to laugh.
TJ, let's get Dave in here because I want to get his thoughts.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
It's okay. I enjoyed seeing those characters return, like Heidi and Jen Krang drinking White Claw and doing 69ers. And Kylan DeSmook's characters. I kept waiting for Kylan DeSmook's to come. I know they're coming. I couldn't wait for them to come. It was a really fun take. I did like the tenant. The one they did with Owen Wilson so much better than this one. I think it was just so much strongly written. They remind me of these the Appalachian emergency room sketches from the Seth Meyers era.
Okay,
they would kind of come in with different things. Parnell would always have something up their butt, or Amy and Daryl Hammond would be this weird old couple. So I really love those sketches too, and I can admire. I mean, I come from long form improv, but I can enjoy these whiner. Especially from short form improv games, of just like you get one line to get your joke in, and can you get it? It's a real skill set to be able to write something like Twitter, to be able to write something that small and still get your laugh in there. There's a lot of misses in here, but there's a lot of really good ones. I really enjoyed Kate, and I really enjoyed Aristotle's Mr. Milos. I hope the Google Translate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
that was indeed.
I really hope we see him again. He 3-point shot for Aristotle tonight in that one, but some of them missed completely. I loved Bowen and Mikey, the talent show announcement. You were off key. That was great. That was fantastic. So I'd say it was very up and down. Some of them Ego didn't even register for me. Melissa didn't even remember. So some of them just, unlike the Owen Wilson square, I feel like just they all hit. So I wish they would have either taken out the ones that didn't work, not for the sake of having every single cast member in there tonight, but to Andrew's point, maybe give 6 or 7 good ones with 2 lines each rather than 14 with 1 line each, and you might have a better sketch.
I would agree, and that Appalachian Emergency Room comparison is very interesting for me, Dave. It's a great callback. I think that works probably a lot better because there's less cast members in the cast, and so I think that the flow is just the writing's probably stronger for them as individuals. You get to see more of them, but let's put a pause on this discussion about this sketch because we do have a lot to get to, and I know it's late for everybody, so I just want to make sure that we get to it. Okay, so let's.
I just want to
let's keep
one
going.
quick shout out to Pete
for
getting applause on 1 line, just one
One
word.
word.
Response.
One word even.
Got
Yeah.
response.
Smoking a cigarette and saying bad, and I laughed my ass off. Like I hate that I loved it. I hate that I loved it so much.
I was baffled. I was like, what are people applauding at?
Okay.
His skill set.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, go on, John.
Let's go to Now I'm Up, which is a pre-tape. This is a song. Chris Redd continuing all season to dominate the pre-tapes. Just really, a lot of people. It's classic what we saw last year. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Hey, Pete Davidson pre-tapes all season." This is Chris Redd's season for pre-tapes. He just continues to slay on a lot of different stuff he's doing. We get to see Keenan Ego in this one as well as Willem and Heidi doing the commercial for the Samurai air fryer. So. TJ, let me start with you on this one. What were your thoughts on Now I'm Up?
Honestly, like this is amazing because like Chris Redd like has just silently for the past 5 years, I think 5-6 years, he's silently been like putting himself in these pre-tapes. And even when like someone else is kind of the bigger focus, like Ego or Pete might be the bigger focus, he is consistently, I feel like, putting himself in that place. And whether or not we might like love what he's doing, he's like putting it out there. And a lot of times I really enjoy it. And I was when I saw Chris, I was like, okay, Pete's probably going to be the one he's paired with in this one. And the fact that it was Keenan, I was like, all right, this is good because Keenan will let Chris shine, and he did. And this worked well for me because it had the energy of that sketch from the Daniel Craig episode On the Couch, where it was Keenan, Chris, and The Weeknd about like sleeping on the couch or whatever. And it had that same kind of musical feel. But honestly, while the jokes like hit for me, and this was kind of like Lonely Island-esque, I have to be honest, the music, because of the type of style of music I like, the music hit for me more than the joke. So the joke wasn't bad, but I really enjoyed the performance and I had a lot of fun with this. And like, I was kind of riding the wave of the fun from Town Hall, and that kind of carried into it. But like, I think because the music was so my style that like, I probably appreciated this even more. And I was so happy for like Chris Redd giving me this like absolute focus and having a really good, like this and Arian of the Boss episode, having like a good couple of episodes. And so I was like really happy for him to get like another spotlight. So I think I kind of focused more on that than on the concept itself.
For sure. Dave, what were your thoughts on Now I'm Up?
I liked it. I like what Chris Redd's doing. I think Chris Redd needs his own Spotify album of all these songs he's been doing. I would love to download these songs. If I could, that'd be great. There's a show on, I think it was IFC, called Sherman Showcase, which was a great sketch. If you haven't seen Sherman Showcase, it's A+. Parody in the black genre of music. I bought the album. The songs were that good. I just wanted to listen to songs as songs. Not only were they very funny and also timely, but also Chris Redd's are just as good as that album. And I would definitely download a Chris Redd Saturday Night Live package of songs just to listen in my mix.
He does make music too. Like I know he has some music on Spotify. Like he makes like comedy parodies.
I want these songs.
Yeah, I think Trees existed as a song before they did the music video, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong.
All right. Well, Andrew, what do you think of this?
I thought this was fine. I did like that it was more of a pop ditty than our usual, hip hop song that we've been getting. So that was a nice change of pace. I thought the hook was actually quite catchy. And so I thought, the construction of the song was almost the more impressive part of it all, because I mean, beyond a couple jokes actually landing with me, it all felt a little bit too #relatable instead of actually being laugh out loud moments. But certainly, like the full body spasm waking you up at night was certainly a moment. It's like, yeah, that's a good. I haven't really heard anybody make a joke about that, so that's good. I think we've all been there in waking up. And then I thought the brief aside with watching the late night viewing and just whatever the Heidi and Willem whatever that
infomercial
infomercial thing would that was quite fun. I did get a hearty laugh at boom wings for some reason. Just again, I enjoyed Willem's energy in the show, so something like that he really sold for me. So I did enjoy that aside to the whole thing.
Just so I'm clear, the last sketch was not relatable enough, and this one was too relatable.
It's all so relatable.
It's the era of now, man. Like if you go on TikTok, or Instagram Reels or whatever, it's not even full jokes. Now it's not now. Like there's a portion of content now where the bit is, hey, I had this experience. Do you relate to this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't relate to this, so I didn't find this funny for myself. But like that is a huge pocket of the short form content market, is just be relatable because of all the different experiences that only a certain amount of people might experience.
And I mean, comedy is in the details, so I do enjoy when they can do something, dig deep into something like that. I just felt like the actual jokes did not hit as hard as they would, beyond the initial observation, I would say.
Yes.
I can see that.
I do think that the line, there's something that really got me in this one, was Chris talking about how he got to the title of most religious in high school, and he was wearing that shirt that said certainly celibate.
I wrote that down. That was my favorite piece.
That was my favorite part of that. That was very good. Okay. Next up, we have the dog show, and this was a sketch that I believe was originally intended to be in the Paul Rudd episode. This was this was a Dresden and Condrat piece that I believe DiCenzo came in and wrote for Dresden in this one. So this was rewritten now for the Willem Dafoe episode here.
Really?
So Dave, let me come to you on this one. What were your thoughts on Dog Show?
Talk about relatable. I just got this little monster about 3 or 4 months ago. And she, boy, did this sketch really drove home for me. She's she's adorable, but she's a little monster that has a lot of needs and can't stand if I'm out of the room at all. So I completely 100% bought into this sketch and loved every single just terror and just kind of just people don't know what they're getting into. I certainly didn't know what I was getting into when I got this dog. And just all the different just head games that they play with your feelings and emotions unintentionally. They have special needs dogs, and I love live dogs just too. I love when that dog is trying to dismukes on the mouth while he's trying to deliver lines, and some handled live dogs better than others. No one does it better than Cecily for sure. But
Dave, Dismuke's dog was a sexual predator. That's why.
That's right. He was playing a type. He was playing a type. He had the shaky dogs, the sexual predators, the non-walkers, and the medical group. There's fantastic. Whoever wrote the sketch spoke to me in a way that I probably wouldn't have spoken to me last year.
Okay. Interesting. So, Andrew, let me head to you on this one. There was, again, a lot of penis mentions in this one with the weird little dog penis.
Yeah.
So, continuing the through line of the evening. So, what were your thoughts on Dog Show?
Okay. Well, as I was watching this, I was like, what's happening? I thought Dresden was gone because, this is, she did write all these pageant sketches. Most of them I was usually fairly high on. And it's interesting to hear that this one went through a rewrite conceivably without her, because beyond a few lines up top, especially the list of the things that disturbs the first dog, like, the startles at the sound of the Netflix startup, and a couple good jokes there. But then this quickly just became word salad to me, just kind of white noise. And I love dogs. I grew up with dogs. I love animals. I'm a friend of animals. A sketch doesn't automatically get over for me just because it has animals in it. Just because the dog is cute doesn't mean it's a great comedy sketch. And so this one, I don't know. I just started kind of tuning out halfway through. And then by the time we got to the thing with the penis and the dog, and I was like, what is happening here? So this one was, it really kind of fell flat. And I honestly wonder what the original iteration of this looked like and if it was better.
Yeah, and Andrew, when I saw Dog Show on the rundown sheet, I couldn't help but think of the 6 sketches we got with Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon of David Larry and Miss Colleen. And
those were dangerous chaos. The Dog Show sketches with Will and I'm a rare defender of those just because they are so transgressive as to be kind of amazing. So. But we did not get that. We did not get incredible transgressiveness. It was just kind of this one felt kind of flat for me.
Okay, TJ, what did you think of
it? Okay, so the only thing that like hit for me in terms of like something I enjoyed, like something that I laughed at was like the Netflix startup sound. Like it's frightened at the Netflix startup sound, like the gugung, and like that did crack me up. But other than that, like all my observations, like I'm looking at my notes were. I would love to see Punky and Kate as a pairing more. I like the minute I saw them come out, I was like, oh, we don't see that. Yeah. I want to see that. Like, I'd love to see what you can get out of those two, because there has to be like something there. And so I was like, oh, give me a little bit more of that before Kate leaves. And I think at the end, Willem made a producer's reference to the musical, which I really enjoyed that musical. He said, if you got it, flaunt it. So I think that's what I noticed. And then the only other observation is I'm thinking back to when I was watching it with my friend. The only thing I kept saying was like, oh my God, the dog's so cute. That was it. Like, that was my only reaction to it. And like, what's crazy? While it didn't hit for me in the sense of like carrying with, the laughter I'd been having, it carried with me like the energy from like the town hall, the humor, and then it carried with me the energy of the pre-tape, the music of like me enjoying the music, and then the dog, like it hit me in a sense of like, oh, this is really cute. So all of this for me was feel good stuff, like really elevated my energy, but not necessarily like technically was maybe the focus of like, all right, this will be the best comedy sketch ever.
Yeah. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. I mean, there's not a lot here for me. I mean, there were some parts that were amusing, but let's go on to Eugenics.
Somebody at the SNL door.
Yeah, not it's not our 100th episode. Yeah.
So the SNL Network door.
So Eugenics. Let's talk about that one. I'll start with this one. Very random portrayals here of Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie. I don't know where that came from, but I actually did like this one because for the first time in the evening, and we didn't get there yet, but this is the first time in the entire evening, I actually felt like Willem Dafoe was doing things that only Willem Dafoe could do. I loved at the end when he was just breaking down and just yelling and stuff like that. And that is like, okay, I saw that and I was like, throughout the entire night, I was like waiting for that from Willem Dafoe. And then we finally got that. So I really felt like, okay, this was the start of something interesting for me. Andrew, I'll start with you on this one. What were your thoughts on Eugenics?
I thought this one was fine. We've been to this well multiple times, even within this episode. It's another penis sketch. But, I felt there was a clear enough through line and escalation. And again, I felt that Willem actually added to the sketch, and the whole like Sir Willem thing did amuse me. And then him breaking down into screams was like, okay, here we go. This is kind of what I was looking for. So not the most unique or interesting sketch conception ever, but I think it got over well enough. I got a couple chuckles. I'm not going to remember it a month from now, but it did fine.
Okay. Thank you, Bill, by the way, for telling me in the chat that there is a commercial on MLB Network and ESPN that they run with Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie. Okay, so thank you for clarifying.
Oh,
Did not know
interesting.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
that makes a
There's
lot
a
more
whole-
sense to me because I was like,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
There's a whole genre
I
of
didn't
these
get that.
commercials. All you cord
Okay.
cutters, people on cable see these commercials all the time where someone actually runs into Frank Thomas at some, or they run into Johnny Bench in a diner. Like, Johnny Bench, what are you doing here? Well, I'm blah, blah, blah. And Doug Flutie. And they shot it.
Is Doug
pretty
Flutie
cleverly.
in these commercials? I have to know that because that was such a baffling
One
pull
is kind of
for me.
commercials. He's in like some sort of GC commercial.
Okay.
Where
But
somebody runs
just
into
can Doug Flutie not get a boner after 40? Is that the act? Are they parodying a real thing here?
TJ, your thoughts?
They're pairing.
All right, yeah,
The
TJ,
Frank-
your
the
actual
Frank
thoughts.
Thomas commercial.
I have no idea who Doug Flutie is, except the name sounds funny.
Hey,
Like
great
I've no idea who
Canadian
that is.
football player. Yeah.
Congratulations, I guess. Like, I don't know that. I just said I don't listen to sports at the top of the episode.
All right, continue. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead. Oh,
No,
Well, I was
TJ,
just saying the Frank
TJ,
Thomas
give us your-
commercial
oh.
kind of. Yeah.
TJ, you give us your thoughts.
Yes.
Go. Andrew just messing up. the show.
Chaos!
TJ, please give us your thoughts, then I'll head over to Dave. Yeah.
okay. So when I look at this like sketch, carrying myself from the energy, and then watching it at that moment in the episode, I didn't yet notice the trail of dicks that we were having throughout the episode. So like, this is the first time I was like, huh, let a penis talk here. Like, so like at first, like when watching it, I was like, oh, this is really funny. You know, like I was all right, like I enjoyed this. It was a simple, easy, like a dick joke is so easy to do, like for like a male like host and like an audience, like, all right, cool. There wasn't much more like thought than that, except the idea of like the sound of a machine whenever someone's getting an erection. That would call me for a loop. that would call me off guard. But other than that, I think about this when I look back at it. Like if I watch this episode again as a whole, though, it's not gonna like do as well for me because I kind of know what the through line of this episode was, which is just dicks. And I don't mean the sporting goods. Like, so I don't know if it would hit as well. It might be something that would be more fun for me to watch on YouTube. Because Andrew's last name. No, but it just might be something that might be more fun. It's like a YouTube watch, like where I'm like at work and I'm just kind of casual, like passively like watching SNL videos or like while I'm working, and like this is just one I throw on in the recommended or whatever. So it was cool. It was funny. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, like, look, we try and like analyze to the best of our ability on these shows, like what the reason is that SNL could make some of these decisions. And I do feel like you said, like the through line was very phallic tonight. And I felt that what I had heard prior to the show, Dave, was that Willem basically came in, and these are usually like the best weeks at SNL. And he was like, hey, I'll do anything. Like that's what he told the writers. He was like, "Give me whatever, anything you're holding
That's
back."
why you get
I'll do
those
anything."
character actors in, baby. They're
Yes.
always
The
ready
whole
for
Buck
it.
Henry
They're
special.
up.
Yep.
Exactly. So he's like, anything you're holding on to, just throw at me. I'll do whatever. And those are like the people that SNL loves to work with, those hosts. And we ended up getting a lot of dick stuff because of it. Maybe, I don't know. So Dave, what was your thoughts on Eugenics?
I just, they're actual commercials and they shot them really closely to what they actually look like. And I love that they knew each other from boner stuff, which is perfect because the whole commercial
that line
is
killed
about kind of like they kind of skate around what we're actually talking about. And I think they did a really good job of parodying that thing of like, that's something I never noticed about watching these commercials. They never really talk about what it is that Eugenics does. And I guess you kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're getting at. They don't really come out and say it in the commercial either. So it's kind of funny that they're like, yeah, it makes you have trouble with erections. They never really say that in the actual commercials, but the fact they're saying it in this commercial was great. It's like a take that I never really kind of like noticed in those commercials, but it all feels like that way of like, oh, here's a sports figure that I was not expecting to see in this environment. We're going to talk about our boners together. That's what those actual commercials feel like. It was great. And I also like seeing Melissa in the normal where they would normally see Heidi in that role. I really like seeing Melissa. In that.
It was just nice to see Melissa again.
We saw
this
more
week.
Melissa this week.
This might be our biggest episode ever,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. She was like, oh, now you're interested in putting me in sketches. So,
I'd like to see it though.
Yes. Okay, let's head over to Weekend Update. Big congrats to Michael Che, who passed Seth Meyers tonight to become the second longest tenured Weekend Update anchor in the history of Saturday Night Live. So still behind Colin, but still getting there. Yes, TJ?
Can I say something about the Katy Perry thing real quick?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, her costume reminded me of like wanting to play Super Mario Galaxy, which I've been playing a lot right now, because like her costume looked like the mushrooms from the Mario games. Like it just had Mushroom Kingdom energy.
Also,
those mushrooms look like penises.
Yes,
those mushroom costumes. We're not going to talk about how
No.
like wild those costumes were. It looked like they had drumsticks for legs.
more penises.
Yeah. So,
Wait,
so
how
what
were
I
the
heard,
penises in that one?
what I had heard
Oh
was,
my god, they were dicks. Oh my god,
Okay.
TJ, catch up.
I didn't even catch that. Oh my god, they were dicks. Oh my
Yes.
god.
Okay.
And we just passed PG-13. Now we're PG-13.
Yes. What I had heard
just passed
was
the
that Katy
count.
Perry came in, and Katy Perry, these are the best types of musical guests. They were like, okay, do you know what? Just give me anything. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
And they gave
Oh, we got our dick jokes left.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it. The whole episode was
Okay,
just
all right. Thank
phallic.
you for adding that. Let's go on to Weekend Update. Okay, Weekend Update. We had a very fun Weekend Update tonight. Congrats to Michael Che. Let's talk about 80 and Bowen coming on. Oh, by the way, before that, I will say I had heard it was cut before dress, but Keenan was supposed to come on. I assume that was a David Ortiz. Not really sure, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
But that seemed
Big
to be
Papi.
cut. No Big Poppy tonight, even though he made it to the Hall of Fame. 80 and Bowen come out as trend forecasters. So, TJ, your thoughts on 80 and Bowen's parts on Update?
Well, apparently, male cleavage is in, so I need to get some more low-cut shirts. I need to start wearing V-necks again, like it's 2015. And, the costumes were like really wacky. And honestly, you know what? While they were there were funny lines in this. The performance of 80 and Bowen, like the commitment to it, stuck for me way more than like maybe the concept, honestly. And that's what won me over, because these performers were really into it, and they were really putting themselves in. And when 80's almost like cracking herself up, and she got Bowen to crack just like a teeny bit. I was like, okay, so they're really like they're being very silly and they're having fun with this idea. So like I'm not gonna remember this unless they bring it back, but like I could go with it because I can tell how much you're into this. And so like I went with it a little bit more.
For sure. Dave, what were your thoughts on what we saw from 80 and Bowen here?
It's been a while since I've heard a good in and out list for some reason. I don't know why that's kind of fallen out of favor in popular culture. I don't really see them that often anymore. So I really enjoyed that. And I want to do a quick shout out to 80 Bryant for having lipstick on her teeth at the top of a close-up. And having it gone by the end of that close-up. That was super impressive, that she either got the word that she had lipstick on her teeth, or she saw it in the camera, closed her mouth, did one of those things, and by the end of that close-up, it was gone. I was like, wow, that is pro. That's a pro sketch performer right there. And also Che being propped up kind of makes me wish he would do an occasional sketch every once in a while.
Can I add
That
one
is
last
true.
thing?
Of course.
I felt personally attacked because if you're watching on the YouTube feed, you'll see above you, there was a line in there that said like, what's out for men right now is having movie posters. And above me, there's a poster for Detective Pikachu and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And out of the frame is a poster for a couple of Marvel movies. So as a man with movie posters, I felt personally attacked by this. Like
I felt the
hit me to
same
my
way
core.
about fidget spinners.
Oh, Jesus, Josh. I was wondering what the hell you were reaching for.
It hit me to my core. Like it.
Yeah.
I felt really attacked by this. Sorry, that was what I had to add.
Andrew, anything you want to add about 80 and Bowen?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be the lone one on this one. I don't know. This one kind of missed for me, and I'm not quite sure why. I did like the constant refrain of "Go to bed, bitch" at the end of it all. I thought that was quite amusing. I must say that I thought I needed more commitment to this. I thought that the breaking didn't help for me. I'm usually a person that doesn't. I don't know that. Sometimes it just kind of rubs me the wrong way, especially when I'm not as into it as the performers are. That's especially where it kind of doesn't work for me. So this already kind of missing a little bit, and then them breaking. I I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of missed for me. And I'm not quite sure why, because I did get some decent laughs out of it, but maybe a second go around will work better for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Andrew, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So like,
Round
I
two.
appreciate your takes. I appreciate you have a great podcasting voice. And I like that I don't always agree with you. But I just have a question for you. And I mean this in the most respectful way from podcaster to podcaster. Do you just hate fun? Like, what's wrong with who doesn't love breaking? Breaking is so much fun.
No, it isn't.
Let me rephrase it. For the audience, it's fun because it's funny stuff, man. Look, also, I'm somebody.
It isn't. Performers just laughing at their own.
We have so much to get to, guys.
Guys, we are 50 minutes in, and we're only halfway through. TJ.
Let's get through stuff. Great Lori Loughlin joke into this weekend update as well. I enjoyed that after the Eddie Bo thing. Surprise! Peyton Manning comes out, so that was interesting for me. A lot of people don't know this, but I honestly think that the Peyton Manning episode is one of my favorite episodes of all time. Really would have loved to see Peyton Manning last week with Will Forte. Could have been fun to potentially get a reprise of the dancing coach. So that's what I was thinking about, but I loved Peyton Manning in this. It shows me why he should come back and host the show, because I think he's a great Saturday Night Live host. And
he should be a weekend update anchor.
He's so good. He could be on the cast. That's how good I think he is and talented he is. Dave, what were your thoughts on what we saw from Peyton Manning?
Oh, he just crushed it. I have no notes. I love that there's a season 1. That's a great joke. That's a great joke. Wait, there's a season 1? We just watched season 2 and didn't know there was a season 1. That's A+. I have no notes other than I just want to a quick shout out to that Ivanka joke. Ivanka is the sister of failure. I thought that was A+ joke.
100%. Andrew, were you?
So.
Yeah, were you happy to see Peyton Manning back on the show?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could definitely echo your sentiment. The Peyton Manning episode, super strong, and so pleasantly surprised to see him back, and he anchored a segment that did not speak to me at all. I don't really know Emily in Paris beyond the scattered Twitter references I see of it, so I was kind of lost in the weeds on the finer details, and I guess that's maybe part of the joke of just sportsman likes the girly show and is so deep into it that maybe that was just simply the joke. But I felt this one kind of going over my head a little bit, but I still all props to Peyton for just anchoring this so hard, committing so hard. And then I think the end joke of oh wait, there's a season 1 did hit well for me. So
yeah, I just can't believe it's taken 15 years for SNL to bring Peyton Manning. I know he was at the 40th, I know that, but I'm just saying in terms of canon SNL, I just can't believe that it's been 15 years since Peyton Manning's been on Saturday Night Live. He was so freaking good in 2007, and it just shows you tonight why he could do this. And TJ, I was just very impressed. Were you?
No.
Do you hate fun, TJ?
Andrew's the only one who can't something. No, granted, the image of Peyton Manning throwing the football at that kid honestly lives in my head rent free. It's a great funny bit. He's a great host, and he's very funny. He's a good comic timing. The reason this didn't hit for TJ Randolph, I'm not saying it's not as bad. I'm saying it just didn't hit for me. Is like I said, I'm not a sports guy. So the intro was okay, so what is this referencing? And then is the joke, I can't, as somebody who I guess watches girly shows or whatever, the joke that masculine guy likes something that's a little more aimed at women, it just doesn't play for me. Because this isn't that big of a deal. Granted, Emily in Paris I also don't want to watch a white woman frolicking around France, getting to have money and love. No, screw you, man. I don't want to watch you succeed. It's not gonna play to me, a middle class black dude. So I didn't care about either of those two things. And so it was odd because it was one of the only points of the night where someone's energy, which Peyton had great energy and get great performance, great comic timing. And I literally even said while I was watching, it's I'd love to see him host again, because I'm not a big sports guy, but I like when he hosted, and I like what Charles Barkley hosted, so I could go with that. it was the content, it was the writing that like just missed for TJ Randolph. So like I just wasn't having fun with this like at all. Like you could like honestly, this and the cold open were just like the for me.
And that's totally fair perspective on it all. I just would love to know like how this came together. Like, did Peyton call SNL and was like, by the way, like I'm nearby, so write something.
Why?
That was kind of baffling.
Like that was just like it's these types of things that I always question.
Yeah, it was.
He's in New York.
Like, why is he there?
Fallon this week.
See, I saw that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's probable. So yeah, that's probable. He's near the building and stuff. So someone's like, okay, let's write something for Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I think that's possible. So very interesting. Okay. Let's talk about the second half of our show. And the next up, we have Beauty and the Beast, which to me, like I said, for my hot take, completely turned around my opinion of the entire night. I saw where this was going, but I was just, I as soon as I saw it, I was like, I couldn't have been more happy that Willem Dafoe was the host in this moment, because I was like, if anybody's going to do something here that's going to make me laugh, it's going to be Willem Dafoe. So Andrew, what were your thoughts on Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, I can echo that sentiment. With any other host, this would have been an absolute bomb for me. With Willem, it just kind of barely clears the bar. As you said, I saw the joke coming almost immediately because we've already been inundated with penis jokes. So I was already like, yeah, he's going to masturbate. I get it. But the performance that Willem put across, just going through that room, I felt kept it together. The whole Beauty and the Beast thing, this is another sketch where I'm just kind of looking at it and looking at the conceit and comedy versus the budget that's put across. Everybody in these costumes, all these cast members coming out in costumes as well, for like one or two lines that service the sketch, don't service the sketch, really. You could cut a whole bunch of people, save some money, had a clear fucking through line.
Or he said a curse word, or
excuse me,
John has to put an explicit tag on this, so bleep it out.
So he's got to edit this.
Apple Podcast is gonna be mad at you.
Yeah, totally stepped on my Willem servicing himself joke, but
good, very
yes.
good.
Yes. But yeah, TJ, let me get your thoughts on this sketch. I mean, I just think that like the moments where you cut to Willem and then he's talking about spanking his ass and so many wonderful things with his ass, like I was like, okay, I mean, this is getting like, to me, there was a lot here.
Did I think I would see an old man in baggy ye olde clothes spank himself with what appeared to be something from like someone's like starter kink kit? Nah, man, I didn't think that was what was going to happen tonight. I didn't picture that at all. Like the joke was like, you know, it was like super like obvious of what it was going to go to. And so Pete was like playing with that. Also, have we talked about, and we don't need to talk about, just noticing Pete in these past two seasons really loves being in costume. Like, like it's just, I don't know why it's just now clicking for me, but a lot of costumes. And also, is this like his third Disney sketch? Like we had the one with the Aladdin and I don't know if the Grinch
one.
Yeah, I don't know if the Grinch is Disney, but I count that as like
Chocolate in there as well.
Count Chocolate. Yeah, there's just it's really like a lot. Also, this is gonna play to probably no one, but the horse. This is so specific. The horse picture that Willem Dafoe looks like reminded me of the horse from BoJack Horseman. I'm just a big BoJack Horseman fan, and I know that had nothing to do with anything, but that instantly went to me.
That was my favorite joke of that sketch, though. you can watch.
Also, like my only other like pickup from this was like the costumes were really cool, but it was also like why do you guys do this like so late in the show? Like, because all these costumes it probably takes a lot of time to do all this.
Well, post update, they had the time. So
you're right. That's a good point.
But
well, I had one other thought.
Go for it.
No, it's just I like seeing Punky in the Mrs. Potts costume because I was like, oh, that'd be a funny character if like someone cast Punky Johnson as like Mrs. Potts and like a Black Beauty and the Beast. Like I feel like that'd be really funny.
And much like Melissa, just nice to see Punky back in the building this episode.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would say, Dave, this was the sketch that when I saw it, like they were getting ready for the commercial and I saw the costumes, I was really nervous about because I get nervous when this particular cast does like another Beauty and the Beast or Sound of Music or something like this, where I was like, this is we know what's going to come. But this was very different from the type of stuff that we see them do when they're doing classic movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I enjoyed it more.
They're usually not that sexual, those kind of sketches.
Sure.
Did you see the Grinch one?
Check.
Yeah,
Well, that's true. Yeah. I'm like
they usually kind of are actually
instructing the Disney. But yeah, I also checked that Pete's been doing a lot of childhood cartoon characters come to life sketches. I think it's kind of his new wheelhouse. And the only thing I can add is, I mean, I like the sketch. I think I liked it sketch more because of the anticipation of Willem Dafoe in that empty stage by himself, just getting to like tear up the scenery and chew it up and just kind of like make mincemeat out of that sketch to kind of like, and just have open range to kind of like play in that room. And for me, that was finally they're going to let him get Porsche and just see what this puppy can do. You know what I mean? And just open it up on the open road, which felt good. So again, not amazingly funny or smart, but really the energy of the room elevated a lot. Just like the anticipation of Willem Dafoe. What's he going to do? How long can we take in the sketch to get to him before he has to pull down his pants and start talking about like what all the lighting the Kindle, this hiding of the pictures, the
rein it back in, Dave.
all that stuff. Yeah.
The horse.
I enjoyed that anticipation of like Willem Dafoe finally getting to do Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did that in the later sketch, actually.
Yes, that's true. We're going to get to that. So, TJ, let's talk about Please Don't Destroy. So, believe it or not, breaking news, everybody. This is the first Please Don't Destroy sketch that we've had on air since Three Sad Virgins. So,
my God, you're right.
Yeah, there's been stuff that's cut after cut after cut after cut. And for them being like one of the biggest storylines of the season so far, it's been a while since we've seen them on here. So, TJ, let me get your thoughts on Connor's appearance, Martin's friend in Please Don't Destroy.
I think I know what their problem is, and I think I know how they can fix it. The problem is their sketches, which are always very funny, their sketches are so evergreen that it's so easy to cut. You fix that by putting the host in the sketch, and then even if it gets cut, they upload it as cut for time, so you still bring people to the Please Don't Destroy. That's where their error is in terms of like having stuff constantly get cut, because yes, it's great that it's evergreen, that you could air it at any other time. This probably could have been filmed for the Area Under the Boss episode. Nobody would have known, but it also means that it could just be taken out and like put anywhere else. So like, let them kind of like play with the host a little bit more. This was like, it's classic I love them saying classic, and these ninjas just got here like in like September. It's classic.
This is the classic.
The classic. Yeah. And what I mean is classic in terms of like these guys were making videos before SNL. So their beats are kind of the same in terms of how their escalation is. Somebody introduces a weird concept. One of them is kind of opposed to it, and the other one is kind of slowly introduced to it, and slowly everyone is won over. Boom. And there's like some kind of weird fun ending. The ending, and this one was Colin Jost kind of comes in and there's like a photo. So like the beats are all the same, and like, but also this is one of those cases where just because something's predictable doesn't mean it still can't make me laugh and I can still have a good time with it. So also this kid actor, he was great. Like I don't know, this kid was great.
He's been really great. SNL has had a great track record with finding kids who can do stuff like this. It's really great. Dave, what were your thoughts on Connor here in Martin's friend? Please Don't Destroy.
Yeah, I agree. The kid was great. This is definitely not my favorite Please Don't Destroy of the season, but definitely in the top half of this show as far as sketches goes. So I kind of showed you where this episode's at. Even my least favorite Please Don't Destroy sketch of the season was still in top half of the show. So
okay.
Yeah.
Andrew, what were your thoughts on it?
I guess I'm coming with the hot take. This was my favorite Please Don't Destroy pre-tape, specifically focused on them so far.
Wow.
A number of people in the chat have said the like kind of 90s vibe to it, something maybe like Adam McKay might have thrown together. And I did like it's just sort of bizarre aggressiveness to it. And Connor was just great. And I think it also helped that this one was for me, a little bit longer than the other ones. So you got to live in the situation a little bit longer. It helped with the escalation of the whole situation. So, not an all-time classic, but I thought pretty strong for the sketches that have focused on them specifically. And I feel the show should always do more evergreen sketches anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that I liked about this is I kind of sort of finally feel I'm getting to know each of the Please Don't Destroy guys as individuals now. Like before they were a collective. It was these three guys and they're coming in and I know like, who's related to who and all that stuff. But now I'm starting to get that they have distinct personalities from each other. And we're starting to learn that through the pre-tape. So I think that once you start to see, okay, this is the person that they like to rip on and this is the person that's always questioning what's happening in the scene, I think then you can produce better comedy because of it. Whereas before it was like just the three guys. And I feel like I'm getting more of a sense of them as individuals as opposed to the collective.
Also, I want to see them explore more of the backstage. If that's always going to be the setting, I want them to get out of the room and start traveling around a little bit more. I want more like Laser Cats type of nonsense with the the Please Don't Destroy boys.
They have all of 30 Rock.
Yeah, start running around the back. Yeah, start running around.
They have all 30 Rock to play with.
Yeah, do that.
Wait, did anybody notice that there was a Taylor Swift album behind one of them? Like behind the whoever Higgins kid is behind one of them. There's a Taylor Swift album, and I thought it was kind of funny because we didn't see that after. My friend pointed it out because I wouldn't have known.
That's a nice little. That's a clock punch, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
One other thing about John, it's your note. I haven't gotten there yet where I can tell the distinctive personalities. Like I guess I think I'm
getting there. I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but I think I'm getting there, and I think that excites me for what we are going to get to see because it's not just Please Don't Destroy. It's like, okay, I'm learning the differences.
Like I don't even know their names yet. Like I know one's Ben and one's Martin, but I don't know like whose name is which.
John, I think too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. John Higgins. Yeah. So like I'm not there yet, but like they're funny and I enjoy them as the collective that they are. It'll be very interesting to see what they're like next season, but that's a talk for another time.
For sure. We'll talk through that definitely. Let's talk about Good Morning Columbus, which was we've definitely seen stuff like this before. This is a classic Mikey Day Streeter Seidel piece that we've seen before, where we got Scott Cott and Willem a lot talking about knowing yourself / blowing yourself. So. Okay.
Jesus Christ. And why does it have to be all men on this podcast right now too? Like that's where we shot ourselves in the foot.
It was planned. It was planned like
it's all dudes. One dude is named Dick. It's perfect.
I want Nicole's hot take right now in the sketch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need all of the women in the chat. Please give us your hot
Nicole,
take.
throw it in the chat, please.
Yes. So who wants to start? Yeah, Andrew, you want to start on this one?
Man, what? Why? We've seen this so many times. This just felt like a search and replace of the template we've seen a million times. No, I say no to this sketch. It almost for a second took away points for this episode. Seeing this, I was like, I can't believe we're still doing this. There had to be something better than just doing this again.
The chat is killing me.
Yeah, thank you, Casey, for ranking these. Danny Bangs Animals, Blowing Yourself, and then Invest Twins. I appreciate that. Okay, TJ, what were your thoughts on Good Morning Columbus?
Like the blowing yourself bit is like funny like once I realized like where the dicks were tonight, that sorry, I couldn't think of a better wordplay than that. But like I just actually I just realized I didn't really like this. Like it's just now dawning on me. No, seriously. Look. I may like enjoy critiquing and stuff, but I really enjoy going with the sketch and going with the energy and being like dumb and kind of just going with things sometimes. I really like that. But like, as I kind of think about this more, like when I look at my notes, the only thing I wrote down besides blowing yourself, as a reference, I wrote down at Incel Daddy because that was like one of the ats in like one of the Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. It just didn't really hit for me, honestly, except for like when they kind of sat down to try to like, I don't know, man. It was like because of this episode, like I wonder if it would have been fine by itself, but like they were just too much. I don't know.
Okay. Dave, what were your thoughts?
Well, I think Scott Cott might be a cousin of Matt Schatt in the Day universe. I think, and I also loved Dismuke's line of "No, let's let this play
That
out,"
was
which
good.
is great.
That was probably the best part of the sketch.
But they always
my-
hit that beat.
Uh-huh.
They
Yeah,
always
well,
hit that beat.
But he's so
I
good
think-
at that short stuff. Like it's just does it really quick.
This is one of those sketches, much like for me, the lesbian poetry one from the Nita DeBose episode, where it feels like it was a lot more fun to write than it was to be in the sketch, which is a lot more fun than to watch the sketch. I think this seems like a blast to write, a little, maybe a little bit less fun to be in, and also just maybe a little bit less fun to watch, which wasn't a terrible sketch, but I think that's the order of fun that was had in that sketch for everybody. Although I do love, again, Willem Dafoe taking it to 11 and just really getting into it when he leans over and starts pushing that Mikey Day's head down into his lap to help him.
I don't know
out.
if that was unplanned, but that was
That should have
It
been.
was.
Yeah.
yeah, it was
It
a
was great.
good
I
bit
thought-
of Willem throwing himself into it.
Oh,
For
for
sure.
sure. And that's, I mean, what else would you want out of a Willem Dafoe episode than him throwing himself into some dirty sketches?
Right.
Reckless
Okay.
abandon.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. So I thought that was gonna be the last sketch of the night, and then all of a sudden we came back from commercial and we had one more
man.
sketch. Very surprising. Usually we wouldn't get that, but I was actually very happy to see it because I have to say I think I had my biggest SNL laugh of 2022 so far with Willem Dafoe throwing the chair out the window. I did not expect that. I have to say, like I'm very good at seeing things coming. I didn't see that, and I just was like, the fact that they cast Willem as the temp in this sketch was such perfect casting. I absolutely love this, and I, like I said, it ended, maybe the last sketch we've seen a million times, but I really felt like kicked off or ended off a really great second half for the show. So TJ, thoughts on Office Song?
Yeah, I did not see this coming. Like I wrote down, like when the sketch started, I was like, okay, this is kind of boring. Also, why are you doing this at 12:57? You're crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're gonna do a live sketch at 12:57, I'm gonna guess it's like a 1 minute conceit. So like I wrote down like, oh, this is Stump, but it's in the office. All right, let's see where this goes. The chair. Also, the end graphic is I don't know if you know what to call it. At the very end, the end graphic, there's a little chair that falls out of the window at the very end of the graphic.
I did like that.
Yeah,
that's
I thought that was Heidi.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So honestly, I thought that was really funny, but like after the chair, I don't really remember what happened. Heidi Gardner falls out a window, I guess. This one didn't have the air it needed to breathe a little bit, but it's fine because it got the best part, which is Willem Dafoe throwing a chair out of the window. I know that's silly and kind of dumb, but like again, I like that.
Yeah, I was worried this one was going to get cut off. Like, I thought we were going to have the classic, like, Gilda and Steve, that gets cut off before it's over. And I was nervous about that as I was watching the clock as this one was going. But I was just, like I said, so thrilled that this one was in here. Dave, what were your thoughts on it?
I thought the best part about the sketch was the anticipation of knowing that Dafoe was going to mess it up somehow, but we just didn't know how yet. And like we just like they took forever to get to it, and I love that kind of like that drawing it out of like we know it's coming, we know he's not going to do it well, but and then he threw out the chair out the window, which is great. I think it peaked in that moment when he threw the chair out the window because they didn't really have a strong enough ending. I would have gone the Tim Robinson route where he honestly doesn't remember doing it, and he's blaming everybody else for doing it, and like he doesn't want to take because he's a new temp, he's a retired temp, so he doesn't want to take responsibility for it. I thought that would have been a much stronger ending, but I really enjoyed again the absurdity and really that anticipation like we had in the Beauty and the Beast sketch of like, oh boy, he's really gearing up to let him explode somehow. We just don't know how it's going to happen. So that's the best way to use Willem Dafoe, I think.
Yeah, Andrew, I wonder if this was my favorite 10-1 of the season, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say, I think this was the highlight of the night. This got the hardest laugh from me for sure. And as everybody's kind of pointing out, very heavy, I think you should leave vibes from this. especially the surfing sketch. But yeah, I loved that there's so many misdirects that happen up top. The pizzas, you're like, what's up with the pizzas?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, now we're going
24
into
of them.
Yeah, it's like, what's up with that? And then we're going into the stomp thing, and there's like little bits of business with everybody, and you're like, you're looking around going, what's about to happen? And then bow through the window, and you're like, you know,
What
again,
is the sound?
that's great comedy. Nobody expected it to happen. We all, you know, the blowing yourself sketch is like, we've seen this a million times. But this multiple misdirects, chair through the window, and then we come back, Heidi falls through the window, we're out. This is, I mean, I just said that I enjoy longer form sketches, but this, I felt this was all it needed. You needed just the 3 minutes in, out. We did our 2 gags, done. And I loved it. I thought it was a great little bit of unexpected chaos.
Yeah, and let me give props to the writers on this one, Kent Sublette and Allison Gates, who wrote this last sketch.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Really funny.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, this was really good. Okay, so everybody in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, panel. I know it's a little late. We had a lot of fun with this episode going through it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get our ratings right now. So I'm gonna ask the chat to rate the show out of 10. While I'm doing that, panel, think of your ratings. We're gonna go around, and then I'll bring up the ratings from the chat on the screen. So TJ, give us your rating for the evening.
I want to give it a super high rating but then it would mean it's one of my favorite episodes, and it's not. But it was a really good episode, so I'm gonna give it like a 8. I'm gonna go the Weird Nicole route. I'm gonna do like a 8.1895 out of 10.
Got it.
All right.
Dave, what about you?
I'm gonna go. First half was a 6.5. Second half was an 8.5. So average was a 7.
Okay, Andrew.
Oh, I'm
Connor out of 10.
Connor out of 10. Yeah, that sounds about right.
6.9 out of 10.
If I had a window behind me, I'd just throw a chair out the window and duck out. I'm torn between like a 5.5 and a 6. I really wanted this one to be better, and I don't think it ever, well, beyond the blowing yourself sketch, I don't think it ever really bottomed out for me. But few things really hit a level that I really feel that would deserve a higher rating. So it kind of went along, had good energy, and they should 100% bring Willem back, because he was so game. Every single time he showed up, he added potentially more energy than a lot of the cast, or at least as much as the cast. So he killed it, absolutely. Writing was better than the previous 2 weeks, but still lacking in some areas. And so I'll be generous, 6 out of 10.
Okay.
You call that generous? God,
that is generous.
Oh my God.
I'm Andrew Dick. That is generous, TJ.
I don't.
Yeah,
You said
Andrew's 6 out of 10 is like an 8 or 9 out of 10 for everybody else. So
6.9 out of 10. God, read the room,
Yeah.
man. 6.
Oh,
okay.
son, no, that's too much. That is too much. I can't go 6.9.
No,
I
it's
get this
nice.
penis out of 10. Whatever.
It's nice.
I will. Okay. Let me get my rating. So I will say for the first half of the night, for me, it was not a great first half for me. I think this was like a 4 out of 10 for the first half. I would honestly say that the second half of the night for me was like an 8 or 9 out of 10. It was a jarringly different feel to the show from the first to the second half. So for me, I probably settle somewhere at like about a 7.5 out of 10. I think this was like a 3/4 good episode of Saturday Night Live. I think this was really enjoyable, and I actually think this was a very pleasant way to go into the Olympic break. I think that there was like certain things that we were on a very big high at one point. We were kind of going up and down a little bit. I actually think that this is a nice way to get back on tracks and head towards the Olympic break. So
we're at least in a decent medium again.
Yeah, exactly. There's potentially. I mean, it's the fact that there's certain sketches that I looked at tonight that I'm like, if you can write stuff like this and this stuff can happen, I feel confident that we're going to get some really good things for the final 9 that we get to see as we continue. So, okay, let's talk about what's coming up here on the SNL Network this week. And let me bring that up on screen for all of you. So if you enjoyed the Hot Take Show tonight with an incredible panel who has a lot of fun, we have another great panel with us on Monday night. Those are always some really fun shows to talk through the sketches in more detail. So you can join us on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern live on YouTube, and we'll be available on your podcatchers overnight. Wednesday, we are here for our Patron Feedback Show. We have 2 really great patrons who have joined us previously who are coming back with us on a Wednesday. Casey Killingsworth and Benjamin Lamb will be with us on a Wednesday to answer SNL questions and talk about what's happening in SNL social media. We were able to put the social media up on screen. We talked about what Jost and Che are doing on TikTok last week. We played some great sound clips. So it was a really fun show on Wednesday. Always a very casual watch on Wednesday if you want to come join us for that show. So make sure to get your questions into our feedback form. We post those on Tuesday on Twitter and on Instagram stories. And then we are off next week. There's no Hot Take Show. So, Olympics start, and we will be back on Monday, February 7th for our By the Number show. This will be a very interesting By the Number show with Mike Murray joining us and Nicole Rovine as always. And we will break down all of the numbers we saw in the last few episodes from a very weird, unique stretch of shows. So I'm looking forward to see how that impacts Mike's power rankings and all the data throughout the season so far. And of course, we have plenty of shows to get us through the Olympic break, and we'll be back on February 26th with host John Mulaney and musical guest LCD Sound System.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be fun. So this is what we'll do. I will send it over to our panel. I'll go one by one to let the listeners know where they can reach out to you. And if you want to give us a quick word on what you are looking forward to, or maybe not, with the John Mulaney episode, we'll do that at the same time. So TJ, I'll start with you. Give us your thoughts on the next episode and where the listeners can reach out to you.
I'm a big fan of John Mulaney's comedy, as many people are. Unfortunately, his SNL appearances have slightly declined in terms of the return on them, but he's going to be a 5-timer. And that gives us an opportunity for a very good SNL. We missed out on a 5-timer earlier this year, and I wonder if they're going to kind of get in on what they were going to try to back in December. So that has me really excited because I like Mulaney a lot, and it's as simple as that. He's funny. He's a good, reliable host. So I love a 5-timer episode. And so this is where you can find me. I have my own podcast. I have a 15-minute podcast called Rabbit Trail. And you can follow us. You can find us on any podcatcher right now. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Are Rabbit Trail. That's RABID Trail. And you can also find me at King Compliment on Instagram and TikTok. And also, Andrew, thank you for letting me go a little tete-a-tete with you.
Oh, it's fine. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, TJ. And actually recently was on TJ's podcast, Rabbit Trail.
Yes, you were. Oh my gosh, you were.
Yeah. Yeah, we had fun. We talked about male friendships. There was plenty of penis talk. So if you liked this episode,
God, there was not penis talk.
Yeah, you'll enjoy my talk on TJ's podcast. So make sure to.
That's a penis talk. Yeah, no, thank you for being on it. It was fun.
Yeah, you circumcised the penis talk out of that. So
Jesus Christ.
So all right, Dave. Dave, where can the listeners reach out to you, and please get us know your thoughts on the next episode of SNL?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at Dave Buckman or at Cold Town Theater at Cold Town. My wife has a book coming out on Tuesday, Rachel Madorsky. You can buy it on Amazon called How to Love Yourself in Less Than a Week and also for the Rest of Your Life. So please check that out. And I am looking forward to I also taped an episode of the Hall of Fame SNL podcast, trying to submit Franken and Davis. So look out for that. That's coming up in the next week or so. And then I am looking for the John Mulaney, certainly that 5-timer sketch that we didn't get with Paul Rudd, but also perhaps, God willing, maybe a Port Authority hot dog sketch musical to round out the what's a trilogy with 5 parts to it? I guess an opera. The opera.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining us, Dave. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Dave. Always great to get to hear from you. Andrew Dick, this was fun. Do you want to take the hosting chair one last time for the evening and tell us?
Jesus Christ, don't.
It's been a great episode of the SNL Network. No, yeah. That Week in SNL, that's my podcast. We're talking vintage episodes of the show. We just covered one of my favorites that completely goes against what I was saying earlier in the episode. It's the Don Rickles Billy Idol episode from 1984.
That is an amazing episode.
It is an amazing episode. Definitely
So
top
good.
10, top 5. It's all I wouldn't even call it breaking, but it's the most improvised, chaotic, just intrigue. Like, it's just such a unique thing, and it's one of my favorites. So go check it out. I will abstain from John Mulaney conversation because ain't nobody want to hear my opinions on that. We'll just wrap this up with a nice vibe. So yeah, that week in SNL, vintage episodes. Check us out.
Yeah, good for you. That was very good holding yourself back. I like that.
Let him say what he wants. Who cares?
No. We'll get it. We'll hear his opinions online. You can follow him if you want your thoughts on the John Mulaney episode. Yes. So honestly, really great show tonight. Really enjoyed it. If you want to check out all the shows we're doing, always appreciate that. Subscribe on whether it's on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts at the SNL Network to find all of our shows. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram to check out all of our content we're doing. We have a great social media team that's putting up a ton of stuff about Saturday Night Live all the time. So always appreciate you giving us a follow. So really helpful. And you could talk to me at Jon Schneider 24 if you ever want to talk about the shows. Like I said, we're heading to the Olympic break, so there's really no better time to talk to me about Saturday Night Live. If you love hearing what we did tonight and you want to get into the conversation, you want to talk to us just like TJ, Dave, and Andrew did, find us at patreon.com/the SNL Network. You can podcast on our shows, and that's a great perk of becoming a patron of the SNL Network. Okay, so for the panel that we had tonight and everybody in the chat, I want to thank everyone for staying up very late with us. We will see you next time, everybody. Have a good one.
Go to bed, bitch.
Gang, gang.